Have you ever felt overwhelmed just looking at your cell phone? Constant notifications, apps you don't even remember downloading, and that feeling of mental exhaustion even though you haven't done anything productive. That's exactly how I felt until I decided to do a digital declutter, that is, a general cleanup of my digital life. And the result? Less stress, more focus, more peace. Today I'm going to show you step by step how I cleaned up my digital life. If you feel like technology is taking over your time and your mind, this video is for you. Step 1. What is digital declutter? Digital declutter, or digital detox, is a concept that has been gaining momentum in recent years, especially with the exponential growth of technology and the ubiquity of digital devices in our lives. But what exactly does it mean to declutter digitally? In short, it is the conscious and intentional process of eliminating everything that is unnecessary or harmful in your digital life, whether in the form of apps you don't use, notifications that only get in the way, social media accounts that add no value, or even that multitude of accumulated digital files that only take up space and clutter your mental organization. We live in an age where technology should be our ally, facilitating communication, work, learning, and even leisure. However, what we often see is exactly the opposite. Excessive dependence, a constant feeling of overload and anxiety caused by the enormous amount of digital stimuli and distractions that surround us every day. Digital decluttering, then, emerges as a practical and necessary response to regain control of your attention and time, which are increasingly precious and scarce resources. This process goes far beyond simply deleting apps from your phone or closing tabs in your browser. It involves a deep reflection on the role that technology plays in your life and which digital tools and habits really make sense for your well-being, productivity, and personal growth. It is an invitation to look at your digital world with a critical eye, asking, does this help or hinder me? Does it bring me more value or more stress? An important inspiration for this movement comes from the book Digital Minimalism by author Cal Newport, who proposes exactly this idea of digital minimalism, where the goal is not to abandon technology, but to use it in a more conscious, selective, and productive way. Digital decluttering, therefore, is a fundamental first step within this philosophy, a moment to reset your relationship with the digital world and create a healthier foundation for your online interactions. The process of digital decluttering can be seen as a cleanup, a digital spring cleaning that eliminates everything that is not essential, leaving room for what really matters. This may include, for example, uninstalling those apps that you downloaded out of curiosity and never used, or that you used but realized only consumed your time without adding anything meaningful. It also means turning off notifications that are purely distracting, those constant alerts that interrupt your focus and increase your anxiety level. In addition, reviewing your social media and contacts can help reduce mental noise by reducing the amount of information and stimuli you consume on a daily basis, especially those that don't bring any real benefit. Another important aspect of digital decluttering is organizing your digital tools, such as emails, files, and documents in the cloud. Often, the accumulation of unread messages, newsletters that no longer interest you, and scattered files creates a sense of chaos and lack of control. By adopting simple digital organization and cleaning practices, you improve your efficiency and reduce the stress associated with digital excess. In addition, digital decluttering involves creating clear boundaries for technology use. This means setting personal rules to prevent you from being stuck on your phone or computer all the time, such as setting times to check social media or work offline at specific times of the day. These boundaries are essential so that technology does not consume your free time or your mental health. In short, digital decluttering is much more than a simple technical action. It is a change of mindset, a conscious decision to take control of your digital world so that it works for you, not against you. It is about regaining your attention, peace, and time by learning to use technology in a smart, healthy, and balanced way. If you're feeling constantly distracted, stressed, or exhausted by your digital routine, digital decluttering could be the first step toward transforming your relationship with technology and, consequently, improving your quality of life, because fewer apps and fewer notifications don't mean less life, but rather more space for you to live better. Step 2. Step-by-step digital cleanup. When I decided to do my digital cleanup, I realized that the process needed to be simple, straightforward, and practical. After all, the goal was not to complicate my life, but to make my use of technology lighter and healthier. So I organized everything into clear steps that helped me detox my phone, my computer, and even my social media. And it's exactly this step-by-step guide that I want to share with you, so you can start your own digital cleanup right now. The first essential step was to uninstall non-essential apps. Over time, we accumulate hundreds of apps, many downloaded out of curiosity, on the recommendation of friends, or simply on impulse. The problem is that most of them end up forgotten, taking up storage space and consuming data or battery power without any real use to us. So I did some sorting. I looked at each app and asked myself if I had used it in the last 2 weeks. If the answer was no, it was time to delete it. This simple decision had an immediate impact, freeing up space and reducing distractions. Addition, fewer apps mean fewer icons on the screen and fewer options to get lost in distractions. Next, I worked on disabling notifications. I confess that before, my cell phone seemed like an endless alarm clock, with alerts from social networks, promotions, group messages, and emails popping up all day long. It took courage to turn off almost everything. I started with social media notifications, which are the most distracting and increase anxiety. I disabled WhatsApp notifications for groups that don't require my immediate attention, and even email notifications, which were endless. The result? Digital silence that gave me more mental space to think, work, and relax without constant interruptions. Another essential step was to organize my phone's home screen. Instead of keeping dozens of apps scattered across multiple pages, I left only the essentials on the main screen: my calendar, notepads, meditation app, and of course, the phone. This made it easier to find what really matters and prevented me from impulsively clicking on social media or gaming apps. I also used folders to group apps by category, such as finance, health, reading, and productivity. This simple organization helped a lot to create a cleaner and more functional digital environment. I also went through a process of unfollowing and unsubscribing from social media and newsletters. Over time, we follow many people, channels, and email lists that add little to our lives, or even generate negative feelings such as anxiety and comparison. I did a thorough cleanup. I unsubscribed from newsletters I didn't even read and unfollowed profiles that made me anxious, unmotivated, or distracted. This attitude completely changed the quality of the content I consume, making my feed lighter and more inspiring. In addition, I took the time to clean up my email inbox and my cloud drive. Leaving thousands of emails and documents scattered around creates a mess that not only causes stress, but also makes it difficult to find important information when you need it. I deleted everything that didn't make sense, created folders and automatic filters to organize messages by topic and priority, and archived important documents in specific locations. This process gave me greater control and reduced the feeling of overload when opening my email. Finally, I established personal rules for using technology that are essential for maintaining balance. For example, No cell phone in the first hour of the morning or before bed, times when I prefer to focus on myself, my family, and rest. I also set intentional usage windows for social media and other tools, avoiding passive and automatic cell phone use. This helps prevent wasted time and increase my presence in the moment. By following these steps, digital cleaning is no longer a difficult task, but a natural habit. The feeling of being in control, rather than dominated by technology, has brought a new balance to my life. Best of all, with fewer apps, fewer notifications, and more organization, the time that was previously lost to distractions is now invested in activities that really matter to me, such as reading, exercising, and spending quality time with the people I love. If you also feel that your digital life is messy and tiring, try following these steps. Start slowly, eliminating only what you don't use, and adjust your rules until you find what works for you. The important thing is to understand that a lighter digital life is possible and can transform your routine, your mood, and even your productivity. Step 3. Real benefits I experienced. When I finished my digital cleanse, I began to notice profound and positive changes in various aspects of my life. Changes that, honestly, I never imagined would come so quickly and so intensely. One of the first benefits I noticed was a significant reduction in daily stress. Before, my phone was always beeping with notifications from all sides: social media, messages, emails, various apps, and this created constant anxiety. A kind of invisible pressure that made me tense even when I was trying to relax or focus on work. By uninstalling unnecessary apps and turning off most of these notifications, my digital environment became quieter, more manageable, and my mind, as a result, calmer. It was as if a layer of mental noise had been removed, allowing me to breathe easier and focus on the tasks that really mattered. Another huge benefit was the time I gained, something that had actually been happening since the beginning of the process, but only became clear after a while. Without so many digital distractions, I spent much less time on my phone or computer, aimlessly scrolling, the infamous infinite scroll that steals hours from our day without us even noticing. With fewer apps to open, fewer notifications to check, and a more organized digital routine, I began to realize that I could devote my time to more productive and meaningful activities, such as reading, exercising, and spending time with friends and family. This reclaimed time brought a sense of freedom and control that motivated me to stay committed to my digital decluttering process. In addition, the quality of my sleep improved considerably. Before, I would often find myself scrolling through social media feeds late into the night, which interfered with my rest and left me tired the next day. With digital decluttering, I started setting limits on my cell phone use, especially before bed, and noticed that my mind slowed down more easily, allowing for deeper, more restful sleep. This has directly impacted my mood and energy on a daily basis, improving my productivity and mood. Mental clarity was also one of the most important gains. By reducing the amount of digital stimuli, my mind became less scattered and more focused. This made it easier to make decisions, plan my tasks, and carry out my activities without constant interruptions. The feeling of being in control of my attention had a very positive impact on my self-esteem and overall well-being. Another thing that surprised me was the improvement in my interpersonal relationships. With less time spent on screens, I became more present in conversations, meetings, and family moments. Communication became more genuine and meaningful, as I was no longer dividing my attention between my phone and other people. This strengthened my bonds and gave me a sense of real connection, something that excessive digital stimuli often hinders. In addition, reducing my consumption of negative or superficial content was a huge benefit. By cleaning up my social media and unfollowing profiles that made me anxious, stressed, or unmotivated, I was able to create a healthier and more inspiring digital environment. This contributed to a more positive and motivated mindset, which directly impacts my attitudes and choices in my daily life. Finally, digital cleaning has given me a renewed sense of freedom and autonomy. By controlling technology and not being controlled by it, I felt like I regained part of my life that was previously diluted by distractions and excesses. This digital freedom is, in fact, emotional and mental freedom, which allows me to live with more presence, focus, and balance. In short, digital decluttering was not just a technological change, but a profound transformation that positively affected my mental health, my relationships, my productivity, and my quality of life. These real benefits I experienced show that it is very worthwhile to invest time and effort in cleaning up our digital lives, as the result goes far beyond the space freed up on our phones. It directly impacts our well-being and happiness. Step 4. How to keep your digital life organized in the long term. Keeping your digital life organized in the long term may seem like a bigger challenge than doing the initial cleanup, but with a few simple strategies and discipline, it's entirely possible to turn this practice into a lasting habit. The first secret to sustaining this organization is constant awareness of your use of technology. This means regularly asking yourself whether the use of a particular app, social network, or digital service is really adding value to your life, or if it is just consuming your time and energy without purpose. This exercise in self-criticism helps to avoid the unnecessary accumulation of apps, files, and subscriptions, keeping your digital environment clean and functional. Another key practice for maintaining digital declutter is to create a regular review and cleaning routine. Just as we clean our homes, it is important to set aside some time, perhaps monthly or bi-monthly, to review which apps are installed, which notifications remain active, and whether digital folders and files are organized. This care prevents clutter from accumulating again and helps you stay in control of your digital life. During this review, it is also worth deleting duplicate photos or those that no longer make sense, canceling newsletters you no longer read, and getting rid of documents and files that do not need to be saved. In addition, setting clear limits on technology use is essential to prevent excessive screen time from stealing your attention and focus again. This can be done through tools such as time control on your cell phone, apps that monitor social media use, or simply by creating personal rules, such as not using your cell phone during meals, avoiding use before bedtime, or setting specific times to check emails and messages. These limits help maintain balance and quality in your time, preserving the mental well-being achieved through digital cleaning. Another valuable tip is to keep a list of essential apps and only allow new apps to be installed after careful evaluation. This practice helps prevent impulse downloads and the repetition of the digital accumulation cycle. If you need a new app, assess its real usefulness, how much time you are likely to use it, and whether it will really contribute to your productivity or quality of life. It is often better to look for simple solutions or use features that already exist in apps you already use, rather than accumulating more programs. To make organization easier, use digital productivity tools such as task managers, online calendars, and note-taking apps. When used consciously and strategically, these tools help centralize information and commitments, preventing you from relying on multiple disorganized applications. However, the key is to use a few tools, not several at the same time, as too many solutions can lead to confusion and decrease efficiency. It is also important to take care of your digital security by ensuring that passwords are up to date, enabling two-factor authentication, and keeping regular backups of your most important data. Digital organization is not just about space and order, but also about preserving the integrity and privacy of your information, preventing losses or intrusions that can be very harmful. Finally, cultivating a minimalist and disciplined mindset toward technology is what ensures long-term success. It's not about eliminating digital use entirely, but rather using it consciously and in a balanced way, prioritizing what really matters and discarding what is superfluous. Maintaining this mindset helps you resist the temptation of excess, focus on the present, and build a healthier relationship with the digital world, which is a tool to make life easier, not a source of stress. In short, to keep your digital life organized in the long term, you need to combine self-awareness, a maintenance routine, clear boundaries, conscious choices, strategic tools, security, and a minimalist mindset. With these practices, digital decluttering is no longer a one-off event, but a lifestyle that brings more focus, less anxiety, and much more quality to your daily life. Getting here was more than a process of organization. It was a redirection of attention, presence, and intention. And perhaps that is the real silent revolution behind digital decluttering. In a world where everyone is rushing to connect more, true wisdom may lie in choosing what we connect with, and more importantly, what we decide to disconnect from. Excessive digital stimuli not only steals our time, but also the depth of our experiences. When you silence the noise, you can finally hear what really matters: your ideas, your emotions, your creativity. If you are looking for more clarity, more focus, more peace, you don't have to look outside yourself. Perhaps the first step is inside your own pocket on your cell phone, and the second step is simply to choose to continue. Continue to be mindful, continue to be light-hearted, continue to be the master of your own time. Because in the end, cleaning up your digital life is a silent act of freedom,